A very good morning to my dear students of class 9th. I welcome you all to this new class of Social Science 2, wherein we are completing the revision work of the entire syllabus which has been taught from 16th April till now. So, children, after discussing India location and size, I thought that since the syllabus is geography one chapter and then economics two chapters, wherein I have not taught India location and size earlier, so I thought to revise with geography. Then economics chapter 1 story of village Palampur, which I have already taught to you all, wherein I will attach the previous videos also after completing this second chapter of people as a resource. So I thought to start with the chapter people as a resource because I have not personally taken up this chapter since it was taught by Pallavi ma'am in all the sections. So let us begin with people as a resource. In this, as it is, children, we will be doing introduction and then we will be seeing different economic activities. Since we are talking about people, we will see the work related to people. So let us see what the overview of this chapter has to talk about. Number 1, in this chapter we are going to study population which is considered as asset for the economy or a liability. I will explain these terms, but let us go through the overview of the chapter. Then, children, people as a resource. Why are we considering people of a country as a resource? And so the third point, the positive side of a large population. We will be seeing if a country has large population, then what will be its positive aspects. Right? Then investment in human capital. Human capital here is talking about humans. So all these things we are going to study in the chapter. So before beginning with the chapter, I would like you to have an acquaintance, or I would like to introduce some facts about this chapter, children. Not only educated and healthier people gain through their income, society gains in other indirect ways because the advantages of a more educated or healthier population spreads were not directly educated or given health care. It means human capital is one way superior to other resources, means other resources of a country, they are apart from that, human capital is considered to be superior. Then investment, which we saw in the last point, investment in human resources give rates of return in future. For example, if we are giving education lifetime to one child and that child is really bright, but the child is economically not sound, so we are investing in that child. Ultimately, once he grows, he gets best job, he gets a very good salary package, then what is he giving in return? Since his investment on him turned out to be a huge return, so investment in human capital always gives a good return in future. Educated parents found to invest more heavily education for their child. We all have seen that educated parents are always going to invest in the education of the children, wherein in today's time, children, uneducated people also have this perception, so that if they have not studied, they want their children to grow, they want their children to prosper. Now, coming to the chapter, types of economic activities, we are going to see. There are various economic activities that have been classified into three sectors. Since, children, we are studying humans as a resource, that is we people as a resource, we know that the three activities, since I have taught you all in class 8th also, on the basis of the work we do, our activities are divided into three main sectors: primary, secondary, tertiary, wherein primary sectors include agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining, husbandry, animal husbandry, poultry farming. All these activities are considered to be primary activities because they have the direct link with the natural resources, wherein human is interacting with natural resources directly, no mediating channels in between. Now second category, second category is secondary sectors. Secondary sectors includes manufacturing of goods. For example, the cotton shirt, the cotton fabric, the cotton suit, or any fabric you are wearing, it is not coming directly from the nature onto your laps. It is going through several processes of manufacturing. For example, a cotton shirt which you are wearing is not coming directly from an agricultural field, children. That shirt is coming after a lot of processes. For example, cotton fiber which is being plucked from the field, that is primary sector. Then this fiber is going to the machines in industries for processing. This is secondary sector. And that finished fabric is coming to the cities for stitching and different crafting work. That is tertiary sector. Tertiary sector always gives that base, that support to primary and secondary activities. I hope these three activities are clear to you. Primary, where direct link, direct contact of nature and humans. Secondary, where manufacturing processes are taking place. And tertiary, which gives that base, that support to primary and secondary activities. For example, trade, transportation, communication, banking, education, tourism services, etc. So these activities add value to national income. Yes or no? Through primary sources, we are giving our country lot of income. Through secondary sources, through manufacturing, we are hiring so many workers. Ultimately, everybody is earning. So we are giving income to the country. Then through tertiary sector also, doctors, engineers, banking, then tourism, then trade, transportation. Through these tertiary sector, we are giving our country huge income. So these activities are thus known as economic activities. Why? Because these activities are including that profit, that money in it. So economic activities or market activities. So I hope this much is clear to you. While we will now discuss the next topic, which is market and non-market activities, wherein market activities involve various activities like activity performed for pay or profit. Then these includes production of goods, services, including government services wherein government jobs are taking place. For example, different government IT sectors, all these are fetching income to the country. So all market activities related to trade and commerce are market activities. Now let us see the opposite to market activities, which is non-market activities. Non-market activities are the production for self-consumption. These can be consumption of processing or primary products and own account production of fixed assets. Means whatever work we are doing for ourselves. A farmer who is plowing the field only for his family is non-market activities, where he has nothing to do with market. He has no dealing, no activities to take place with market. So that activity is known as non-market activities. So children, by now you are clear with these important terms. What is investment in human capital? What is human capital? What is investment in human resources? Then the three economic sectors, and then market and non-market activities. So for now, that's all for today's class. I would like you all to read the chapter, see whether you have missed any question, you have any sort of doubts, you may write in the comment section, you may ask me, you may call me, and then I'm going to sort out your problems. You may see that whatever left work is there, you need to do it. You should ensure that all written work is done, since you people are going to appear for your first online examination. So thank you so much, children. For now, please go through the chapter nicely and carefully. Till then, bye bye and take care.